My number one priority, and I think this works in any type of arts, is, and my teacher taught this to me. A lot of people thought, the guy that taught me so much, a lot of people thought he was could be a little bit of an arrogant guy or something. He was kind of old dictator, but he wasn't really. He always told me his number one priority was the audience. Always about what are you going to give them. And then, for him and for me, the second priority was the orchestra, the musicians. You want them happy, they want them growing. And then the last thing was, what do I want to do? Not necessarily, it's not about you. It's about all those people that are going to come buy tickets. So that's where the focus is. And then I get to sit down for each concert, and basically, it's like when I'm at home playing on iTunes, and I'll put together a playlist. I get to put together all the cool stuff that I think will really work in the program, and take us on a little bit of a journey through ups and downs. And then we get into the rehearsal process. We'll rehearse with singers. You all know what that's like. And then rehearse with the orchestra, and then the lights go on. And as John mentioned earlier, I always say that's like my favorite 2 hours of every day. And it's coming up. We have another concert at Carnegie Hall at 8 o'clock. And I'm like this, but I know I put on my tuxedo, and they say places. I walk out that door, and the spotlight hits, and suddenly you're just a new person. It's like, whoa, there it is.
At the end of the day, if you're in the performing arts, and if you're in the live performing arts, like we are, the audience is what keeps you not only going emotionally and energy, but also the other reason you can afford to pay your rent, and the reason that you eat.
The ones you want to make happy.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is there's some artists who create for themselves, and they do it because it fulfills only them, and that's all they care about. And you know what? That's totally okay, and I wish them luck, because the most successful artists are exactly what Stephen just said, are the ones who go out there, and there's this need to give, and this need to change an audience's point of view, or give them something new, or hear what they're giving back to you.
Make a lot of your own puppets, or do you have them
You ruined her
Sorry.
First in the mirror.
Think of something else.
I used to, when I was growing up, I built them just because, they're not, at least, now it's probably a little bit different because of the internet, and because of, the instant find of anything. But, when I was back in the old days before the internet, there was no, I didn't know how to build puppets, and I taught myself, and they were awful. I mean, some of them just looked like they were like roadkill, but I since then, having been lucky enough to work with the Muppets, I've learned a lot of tricks on how to do it. So now I build sometimes for fun, and also just for sometimes for work. I have to build things, but so I do build. But I'm definitely more of a performer than a builder. That's such an art. I mean, that's such a craft. It's so important. It's a costume design. It's like. Yeah, anyone can go out and buy something and put it on, but when you can come up with it and design it, the work that goes into that is such a skill.
What else can you imagine yourself doing with your life? If you couldn't be like
I will start because I actually have an answer to that. I've thought about it. Well, in my earlier days when as I said, I always knew I was going to be doing something in this, but then there were times in the early days when you think, oh man, honestly, you think, do I just want to chuck all of this because this is killing me right now. It's not going exactly the way I had planned. And I would be probably a park ranger out at the Grand Canyon or something.
There's one place I would work, which would be Disney World, because I'm obsessed with it. Right, okay, got it. So for me, I would be that guy who'd be like, welcome to the Pirates of the Caribbean. Because I like people, and I love the idea of that. But I guess it's kind of performing still to some degree, so I love it counts. Especially Disney, right? Have a magical day.
I also was a file clerk, and I was fired from that.
Oh my God!
I decided that my way was better.
This is why you're the boss now. The idea of the mentor-protege relationship is really special, and I don't think it happens as much as maybe it should or could, and that's by somebody who's got a few more years on you, who's been doing it, that you can really learn from.
My mentor, too, I think Margaret Krask, what she taught me was that it's 20% work and 20% talent and 80% work is what makes an artist.
It's true.
Even though you're starting out in this broad path of this career in the arts, you're not exactly sure how it's all going to end up. I mean, going from dancer to, I'm going to choreograph and start this company for 3 months, and then 35 years later, and I started out playing the trumpet, and I play the piano, then I moved to Hollywood, and I start writing with film music and stuff, and then I come back and I become a conductor. So, the path can certainly, and it's only by looking back in the rearview mirror once it's happened that you can say, that was supposed to happen that way. That I could have never predicted it or even planned it. But you look at it and you say, this all worked out just right, and probably the way it was exactly supposed to. So, but it's tough when you're trying to push it there because you don't know how it's going to work. It's only afterwards when you can see it.
Just living your life, you get yeses and you get nos, and I think to be an artist, you just have to be out there and experiencing everything you can, because you bring that into your art form. Especially if you're going to play a person, you have to be a person. And part of being a person is being said no to.